The evening started like any other ordinary Tuesday in suburban Georgia. The sun was dipping behind the oaks, painting long shadows across the driveway when David Grant, 44, director of operations at Kell Manufacturing, pulled into his garage. He thought he was coming home to fix a leaky showerhead, not to watch his entire life collapse in front of him. The house was quiet, the kind of peaceful quiet you wait all week for. The boys, Noah and Ryan, were still at soccer practice, and Emily, his wife of 15 years, had texted earlier saying she'd stop by the gym. David grabbed his wrench and headed to the master bathroom, ready to finally silence the persistent drip Emily had been reminding him about for weeks. As he knelt on the cool tile floor, tightening the fixture, the sound came, the front door slamming open, footsteps pounding down the hall. Then the bathroom door burst wide. Emily stood there, naked, drenched and trembling. For a heartbeat, neither of them moved. Her hair clung to her neck, water streaming down her shoulders. Her breathing was sharp, panicked. "Emily," David said softly, standing. "What's going on?" She froze. The look in her eyes wasn't fear, it was guilt. Pure, unmistakable guilt. "David, I thought you were still at work," she stammered. Then, from down the hallway came a faint sound, a door closing. David's pulse spiked. Someone else was in his house. He brushed past her before she could stop him. Emily grabbed his arm, her wet hands slipping on his skin. "David, please!" But he was already moving. He reached their bedroom, the door half open. The bed looked too neat, like someone had fixed it in a hurry. And there on the nightstand sat a phone that wasn't Emily's. The screen lit up. "Is he gone yet?" From someone named Matt. David turned slowly. "Who's Matt?" Emily's face went pale, her eyes darted toward the closet. Then he heard it, rustling behind the door. David yanked it open and time froze.
A shirtless man, jeans unbuttoned, stood pressed against the back wall. Sweat glistened on his skin. His expression was a mix of fear and shame. "Look, man, I can explain," the stranger blurted. David's jaw tightened. "Get out." His voice was low, trembling with rage. Emily stepped between them, clutching a robe to her chest. "David, please, just listen." "To what?" he snapped. "Do you explain why there's a half-naked man hiding in our closet?" The stranger, Scott Richards, David would later learn, scrambled for his shirt. "He said you were separated," he said quickly. "She said you were getting divorced." David turned, stunned. "Is that true, Emily?" Her lips parted, but no sound came. That silence was answer enough. Scott bolted. The front door slammed a moment later. David stood there, gripping Scott's phone, staring at the woman he thought he knew. His chest burned, his breath coming shallow. "How long, Emily?" Tears filled her eyes. "A few months," she whispered. "Months?" His voice broke. "You've been lying to me, sleeping with him in our house, in our bed." She sobbed. "You were distant, always working. I felt invisible." "That's your excuse? You felt invisible, so you destroyed our family?" When she didn't answer, he turned to leave. That's when he noticed her bare ring finger. "Where's your wedding ring?" Her face drained of color. I lost it, at the gym." David stared. Then slowly, he reached for a small box on the laundry shelf, one he'd found days ago. He opened it. Her ring gleamed inside. "You want to try that again?" he asked quietly. Emily's tears fell harder. "I didn't want to wear it anymore," she whispered. Something inside him snapped. He packed a bag and walked out. "You made your choice, Emily."
When the boys came home later, Emily couldn't explain. Noah, 14, texted his dad, "Mom's crying. What happened?" David called from a motel off Route 40, his voice trembling as he tried to sound calm. "We'll talk soon, buddy." But Noah already knew. "It's about Mom and that guy, isn't it?" The words cut deeper than anything. His son had seen it coming. He'd known. Days later, David sat across from his mother, Patricia Grant, a retired attorney with fire still in her eyes. "We're going for full custody," she said, her tone steely. Then came the second betrayal. In a follow-up medical report, David discovered something he'd never expected, a note about long-term infertility. His world tilted. Ryan was 7. Emily's affair had lasted only months. But what if there had been others? The DNA test confirmed it. Ryan wasn't his biological son. Still, in the courtroom weeks later, when the judge read her verdict, David's voice was steady. "Your Honor, no matter what that test says, he's my son." The courtroom fell silent. Emily wept. Patricia squeezed her son's hand, pride flickering in her eyes. The judge nodded slowly. "Mr. Grant, that speaks volumes about your character." David won full custody. Emily lost her job soon after.
But the true victory wasn't legal. It was peace. Months passed. The house was smaller now, quieter, but full of laughter. Noah called him Dad more often. Ryan, still unaware of the truth, would crawl into his bed after nightmares, and David would whisper, "It's okay, buddy. Dad's here." One evening, at a school event, Emily approached him. Her eyes were red, but her voice was calm. "I'm sorry, David, for everything." He looked at her, the woman who had broken his heart and given him 2 sons to love. "The boys need their mother," he said softly. "Be the person they can trust again." That night, he tucked Ryan into bed and watched Noah scroll through old family photos. The ache was still there, but so was gratitude. Because forgiveness, he realized, isn't weakness, it's freedom. The storm had passed, the wounds were deep. But in that quiet house, with his sons asleep and the night air humming outside, David finally felt home.